Welcome to Career Planning Increases Student Success and Retention. I wanted to thank you for coming. And just so you know, a little housekeeping that today's webinar will be recorded and will be sent out tomorrow by email. If you have questions, please enter them in the chat window and we'll address them during the session, or you can save them for the question and answer period at the end of the webinar. This webinar today is brought to you by Human Resources. Human Resources is a worldwide leader in the development and provision of online personal assessment, student success, and education and career development programs. We also have a free resume service that you can learn more about at humanresources.com. And we're very fortunate today to have Dr. Marcia Fralick with us to talk about the importance of students making an informed choice of a college major and career, and to review technology and curriculum that can help them make those decisions. Great. Dr. Marcia Fralick taught college success courses for 45 years and is a frequent presenter at conferences related to student success. She's the author of Career Success and the College and Career Success line of textbooks. Her college success program in the San Diego area received many awards from students and faculty and was designated an exemplary program by the California Community Colleges Board of Governors. Research on the program outcomes shown a 28% increase in retention and an 80% success rate for students enrolled in her program. I'd like to welcome Marcia to today's call.
Good morning, everyone. It's great that you're here. Today I'll be presenting information on career development. It's actually one of my passions. I've worked on this for a number of years, and hopefully my comments and examples and resources will be valuable for you if you're an FYE instructor, or maybe you work in a career center, or maybe just thinking about adding this topic to your course. The resources I mentioned today are at my website, collegesuccess1.com. And if you'll click on training notes, you can find the PowerPoint and any exercises that I mention or any web links. They'll be on training notes for today. So here's the key idea. Making an informed choice of a college major helps students stay in college and complete their education. And I know all of us are interested in student success. And so today I'd like to talk about some of the research that supports this idea, an outline of curriculum that you could use in your course, and then some practical activities, exercises that you could add to your course. So a little bit about the research on career development. Maybe you're familiar with this, but just an outline of some of the significant results. Career development results in increased retention, college completion rates, fewer course withdrawals, graduation rates are increased, and then it increases course satisfaction. All important reasons why we would want to include this in a first-year experience course. I did some research at my college, and I looked at students who stayed and those who dropped out during the first semester. And I've always been concerned about, in community colleges especially, we have a huge enrollment. And then after 2 weeks, actually, the enrollment dips, and then it dips significantly in the second semester. And so I did a research project comparing students who stayed in college and those who dropped out. And there was really one question that differentiated these two groups. If they could answer a simple question, what is your major? If they could answer that question, they were in that group that continued in college. And if they could not, then they were in the group that dropped out of college early. So career development is important. And here's another key idea. It's best to include it early in the semester. As Tamara mentioned, I have taught first-year experience courses for 45 years now. Also worked as a community college counselor for 33 years. As I was developing the course back in the 70s, I was experimenting with what topics are most important early on and how to organize these and what should be presented first, second, third, fourth, and so on. So what I found out over the years was to start off with some orientation, helping students feel comfortable with each other in the course, some ideas on motivation, positive thinking. It's a good way to start off the course. And then the next topic is career development, because there is some research saying that what you do during the first 6 weeks is important. And I think at community colleges, what you do during the first 2 weeks is important. So I've always included career development as the second topic in my first year experience course. The research I did at Cuyamaca College, by the way, Cuyamaca College is in the San Diego area of California. It's a very diverse college. It's inland, lots of Latinos, Native Americans, and quite an extensive enrollment of Arab Americans who are Christian refugees from Iraq. So students enrolled in the first year experience course with a strong career component had an increased fall to spring retention rate of 27.6%. So that was comparing students who were enrolled in our first year experience course and then those who didn't, and the retention rate was significantly increased. Another thing that I've thought about recently and have actually thought about for a number of years is life satisfaction and how that can be motivating. And also it's, I think, one of the outcomes that we expect from higher education. It's interesting that 44% of all college educated job seekers regret their field of study. As a college counselor advisor, it was sad to have students come in and talk about how they wanted to change their major and they had quite a few units already, so it extends their time in college, or maybe they even finish their degree and decide they don't like it. I remember once talking to a student on probation, and the student was majoring in business, and he said, I just can't seem to get my homework done or be interested in this topic. And I said, is business the major you really want? And he said, no, I'd really like to be an artist, but I know you can't make money as an artist, so I decided to major in business. And so I think it's helpful for students to really think about who they are, what they want, what would be satisfying in their life, and then make decisions from there. As a person interested in art, maybe you could major in art and minor in business so that you could open up your own business having to do with art. So there are always good answers if you search for them, I think. Graduates with good job prospects are more satisfied with their field of study when they graduate. If you ask community college students, why are you going to college? They would say, I'm going to college to make a better life for myself. So I think early on in the process, students need to know about career outlook. What are the prospects for employment? How much are you getting paid? And so I'll share some exercises I do with my student in that regard. So we need to help students understand job prospects and earnings early in their college education. And I think having a vision for the future provides the motivation to invest in the hard work needed to complete a college education. Without that vision for the future, students often question why they are in college. And when they question why they're in college, they're likely to drop out of college or be unsuccessful. Here's my strategy for helping students to make an informed choice of a college major, and that is matching personal strengths to careers. So in order to do that, I created this diagram here with all the components that I think are important. First of all, what are my personal strengths? What are my vocational interests? What are my multiple intelligences? What skills do I have currently, or what could I learn? How could I improve skills to match my interests if needed? How do I learn best? And what are my values? What's important to me? All those factors go together in choosing a career, making an informed choice of a career. So we move from personal strengths to careers to actual job openings. And I think sometimes in career development, we don't follow through all of this process. We might assess personal strengths. We might connect them to careers. Do we connect them to actual job openings? I think that's an important last step in the process. And we are fortunate today that we can use technology to connect personal strengths to careers and actual job openings. So I'd like to show you a program that uses technology to do that with human resources. This is the True Talent Personality Assessment that I use in my classes. Many years ago, I used Myers-Briggs, and it actually became too expensive for our college. And so I went to the Career Center director. She and I were good friends. And I said, is there something that could assess personality that's less expensive and is really good? And so for the last 21 years, I think I've been working with human resources. And I have watched as they have added technology to these assessments that I think is really important. So the first difference between Myers-Briggs and True Talent is that these personality characteristics are a point on a continuum rather than either or. I was always bothered by the fact that there is a forced choice for ties if you're using Myers-Briggs. So this happens to be my personality assessment. Some of you who have used Myers-Briggs are probably familiar with this. So my personality type is ISTJ. What you can do with technology is you can click on this and it'll tell you what do you mean by introvert, extrovert. So that definition is right there so that there's less chance of misunderstanding. With Myers-Briggs, you have to be certified to administer the assessment. With this assessment, you don't, because the explanation is built in, and it's built in a very positive way. You can click for more information. It generates a personality profile, and it's very positively written. Students often ask me for a letter of recommendation, and I will take some of the positive adjectives and phrases from their personality profile and use that in their letter of recommendation. And again, it's very positively written, so it's meant to be inspirational and help students to be motivated. And then it connects to learning, work and productivity, communication, working with others, and career pathways. Again, using technology. So for example, how does my personality type affect work and productivity? And so it starts with, what are my strengths? So in my case, it says I am logical, efficient, self-reliant, versatile, reliable, decisive, and trustworthy. So those are all positive words that can help me think positively about myself, and students the same. It also talks about challenges, and as I think about myself, I recognize some of those challenges. Need rules, standards, and structure, want clear direction, routine, and stability, etc. Working with others. What are my strengths in working with others? I'm responsible, loyal, likable. I get things done. Again, some positive words that describe myself. Some challenges. I do prefer to work alone or with small groups. It lists some challenges so that I am aware of those and they don't trip me up. What's nice about the technology is that it will take my personal strengths and match them to careers. What's interesting is if I had taken this assessment when I was 18, I probably would have become an engineer because my personal strengths align very closely with engineering. And I also have a daughter who's an engineer, and we have a lot of common interests. So these are some careers based on my personal strengths. What's nice about technology then is you can click on, for example, chemical engineer in the assessment, and then it takes you to career information. So in the past, I would send students out to the Occupational Outlook handbook or other kinds of sources to research their careers, but this is built into the assessment. So how do my skills compare to other people who are engineers? What kind of education do I need? What are the wages for this occupation? And I can see the wages are high, so this would be motivating to help me to invest the time to take that calculus course and the rigorous courses required in engineering. And then look at the career outlook. It's above average, so that would help me to think positively about this career. By the way, if you have questions as we're going along, feel free to write them in the chat window. I'd be more than happy to answer any of your questions.
We do actually have a question.
Okay.
This is great. What are your thoughts about 16 personalities test? If you're familiar with that one.
I'm not familiar with that. I do know that there are a number of personality assessments that are available online. What I would suggest is to look at the reliability and validity of any of these assessments. You can trust that Myers-Briggs is reliable and valid. They've had many years of studies to show that it is. Also, this assessment is reliable and valid. I myself have written some informal assessments, and then I found them online and people are using them. But I haven't really done any validity or reliability studies on whether they're valid, whether they measure what they're supposed to or reliable. They were just meant as exercises for discussion in the classroom. So that's the only thing. And I know that there are tons of them, and there are tons of them that really don't have that validity and reliability. So I would encourage you to, if you're using one of those, to check that out.
Right. And
okay, another
sorry,
question.
we just did have a second question as well
Okay.
about the personality test, and they're wondering where they can access it or buy the license and software, and I can answer that for them. You can go to humanresources.com and purchase, or you can also, you'll get a free trial to try it out for yourself tomorrow, and you'll receive that in the email as well. It's part of Dr. Fralick's curriculum, so you would also receive it within there. It's kind of all built into one nice package.
Then moving on, technology, I mentioned that third step is connecting to actual careers. So it's connected to Indeed.com. If you see this red arrow off to the right here, you can click on Indeed.com from within the assessment, and then it takes you to careers in my area. And I have my account set for California, for San Diego. And so here are some careers in my area. You can set it for whatever area where you are working. So that completes that last step. And I think that's crucial in completing the process. So I mentioned I would share with you some activities that I do in my classroom. One is a word cloud summary. So I took all those positive adjectives from my personality assessment and I went to wordcloud.com. It's free. And they'll let you choose your color scheme and the shape of your word cloud, and they'll take all of those adjectives and arrange them on a sheet of paper like this. So I assign my students to do that as a way of looking at their results. I've done some research on career assessment, and it's not enough to do the career assessment, but students have to interact with them and think about it. So I think what happens a lot of time in career development, we give the students an assessment, we give them a brief overview, and then it's put aside and they don't think about it anymore. But we need some activities to engage students in those results and think about them and how they apply to their own life. So what my students are doing, this is an assignment in the class, and many of these have told me they take them home and they post them so they can see them as a way of thinking positively about themselves. So that's wordcloud.com. And in my resources for today is a worksheet that guides students. Here's the link. Here's the steps in doing it. Here's what I would like you to do for this assignment. Another assignment which I have in my resources is I have a personality summary, which is a vision for the future. And it includes all those steps I mentioned that are important. So I asked them to summarize their personal strengths, tell me what career, at least one career that matches your personal strengths. Doesn't mean you have to choose this career, but what is one career that matches your personal strengths, what education is required so that they know that they can click on those results within the assessment and find that out. What is the salary and the career outlook? So the assessments that I use in my course are the personality assessment. I also use multiple intelligences, and it's built in the same format as the personality assessment. What I like about multiple intelligences is that it enhances human potential. I'm old enough that I started out with IQ tests long time ago. And IQ tests are, now that I look back on it, they were limiting human potential. You were reduced to, this is a score on your IQ test. And so in some ways that wasn't very positive. So very quickly back in the 60s, people started questioning this and moving away. And then Gardner came up with the theory of multiple intelligences. And so that's just defined as whatever is valuable in society. So you could be an indigenous person in Australia and play the didgeridoo, and that would be an intelligence. I like that definition. And then learning, we've moved away from learning style to using all the senses to learn, and how does that impact career choice? And then skills. What are your current skills? What are skills you would need to improve if you were going into your preferred career? So this is my textbook. And actually, I have the wrong photo here. I should have career success up here. I have two textbooks. One is college and career success that combines career and college success topics. And then I have one that's just career success. So in my career success course, these are the broad topics that I cover. The first one is create your success. It's about motivation, resilience, positive thinking, exploring your personality and major, exploring your interests and values, exploring your multiple intelligences, planning your career and education, updated job search strategies, and career satisfaction. So create success. It has to do with steps in career planning, the value of a college education, and then some topics that are related to developing resilience. I know that's one of the topics that people are talking about now. So some components of resilience are motivating yourself to be successful, thinking positively about the future, taking control of your life, successful beliefs, visualizing your success, secrets to happiness. So just as I discovered many years ago, it's good to start off the course with positive thinking, motivation as a way to complete the course. Be happy in your life, have some motivation to begin that career planning process. And then jumping right into personality and major, how to choose a major that matches your gifts and talents, a deeper understanding of personality type, the True Talent Personality Assessment, majors and future earnings, majors and job satisfaction, and find your passion. Then interests and values, I use Holland's Hexagon. I use the ONET Interest Profiler, which is a free site also. I talk about interests and lifestyle. What are your values? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a values checklist, and the importance of acting on your values. Then multiple intelligences. I talk about mindset, how that affects intelligence and success, grit and success. What are multiple intelligences, the True Talent Intelligences assessment, and the importance of building on your strengths. Planning your career and education, I talk about different generations and how the job market is changing. Career trends 2024 to 2030, so that students have a view of what's happening now and in the future. Work skills for the 21st century, the True Talent Skills Assessment, how to research your career, how to make a good decision, how to plan your education. The new edition of my textbook has a whole section on this new career trend that I think is going to change the world of work. It is already, and that is artificial intelligence. So it's important to know that some jobs will be eliminated. We don't know exactly what they are, but the current thinking is that probably jobs in customer service, accounting, warehouse work, sales, and insurance will probably be automated and done by artificial intelligence. That doesn't mean you couldn't work in those fields. It just means that artificial intelligence might be the primary way that these jobs are done. And that means that you would have to be able to use artificial intelligence. Thinking positively, there are many new jobs that'll be created. We probably can't tell you all of them at this point, but here are a few of them if you look down the list. And as I was researching this, I hadn't heard of some of these jobs before. Machine learning engineer. And look at the salaries. They're really high, 109,000 to begin. AI engineer, computer vision engineer, deep learning engineer. So you can see that this career trend, students need to be thinking about this trend and preparing for it. And then, of course, these are career trends that are continuing, and I help students to understand those. Continuing working from home, for example, the importance of being able to work with diverse people on the job, preference for soft skills, what are those? So you can take a look. These are some of the career trends for the future. Updated job search strategies. Career services, I always work in partnership with career services. Students do a visit to the Career Center. I'll have the Career Center person come in and speak with my course, talk about the importance of volunteering internships to get some experience before you graduate from college, the resume and cover letter, establishing your personal brand online, some etiquette of online, making sure that you represent yourself in a positive way online, online tools, the job interview, starting your own business, taking action. Human Resources does offer a free resume builder, and so you can find that at humanresources.com. So students can create, store, update, and download their resume from this website. And again, that is complimentary. In my resources for today, I have included that link. Here's a topic that isn't often included in careers, but I think it's one that's important, and that is finding a career that you like and looking at life satisfaction. Find your passion, find meaning in work. What is the role of money in job satisfaction? For some, it's important. For others, maybe personal meaning is more important. What are some predictors of job satisfaction? We actually know that from research. Some essential work skills. Soft skills, we talk about emotional intelligence and career success, and that's part of the personality assessment also. Communication for career success, how to speak to others on the job, some tips for career success, and your lifetime goals. The career assessment is included in my career success textbook. Those of you who are using Myers-Briggs or Strong, the cost of this textbook is actually less than one of those assessments. So this textbook, the interactive online version, is about $25. So that includes all of the assessments and the curriculum and the instructor's manual also. So if any of you would like to take a look at that, you'll receive information for getting an access to it so you can take a look. So this is the career success textbook. The new edition is out for spring. It's the 4th edition of career success. It's also available in a FYE version that includes college and career success. I have a video on YouTube, and again, that is in my resources where you can take a look at the interactive online features. I have an instructor manual and training notes. The training notes, the resources are available in training notes at College Success One. The instructor manual has classroom handouts, interactive exercises, a test bank, and PowerPoint. At this point, I'd like to pause for questions. I'll mention again resources, collegesuccess1.com. I like interacting with faculty as a retirement project. I am moving less toward teaching, more toward working with faculty and professional development. So you can contact me for any academic questions at marsha@marshafralick.com. There is a link here to Human Resources webpage on career success. And then for guest access, you can contact Carla Lundman. At this point, I'll open it up for questions. And also, I know Tamara has some questions, and we have a guest also today. I noticed that Miriam is here. She has been using Career Success. So thank you, Miriam, for joining us. And I know Tamara has some questions for you.
Yeah, we'll answer the questions as we go along, but I wanted to introduce Miriam Afshari who's a counselor and associate faculty at Saddleback College, and she's had lots of experience using Career Success. So thought that would be helpful for you on today's call as well. So just to welcome Miriam to the call, and thank you for joining us. I wanted to ask you, how do you use Career Success at your school? Can you kind of give us an overview of how you use it?
Hi, Tamara, and thank you, Dr. Fralick, for this great book. I am been using this book over 7 years now, and I am teaching at Saddleback College, counseling and teaching over 12 years. And I'm so excited to be here and share more about how this textbook has integrated into my course, and I have been using it for a long time. I have tried other textbooks, but this one stood out, so I continue using it because it works so well.
Great.
Thank you for all those kind words, Miriam. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And one of the things I know we had discussed the other day was kind of the variety of students that you have in the class when you teach it. Just if that helps people who are listening in today. Can you kind of describe, I know there was kind of a full spectrum of students that are serviced through the course that you teach.
Yes. I teach the College and Career Success, and this course is 3-unit course that count as a general education for Cal States and also for associate degree, and is transferable to UCs. Most students who take this course are freshmen, and some are in the second year using it to meet general education requirements. And some also take this course to confirm that the major they chose is the right decision. And so this class helps students succeed in both college and career planning. Students complete career assessment, explore different careers and major, and create an academic plan tailored to their goals.
Great. And so as a faculty member who's using Career Success, do you have a favorite thing that you'd like to share with us?
Sure, yeah. I'm just going to mention few. First is I love the Career Success textbook. Is fully integrated with Canvas, And this setup make it easy for a student to access materials and engage with content directly in one place. So they don't have to switch between platforms, and it keeps learning simple and very organized. Second is, since the book is embedded in Canvas, grading is easy. I can read and grade journal entries right there. The quizzes are graded automatically. So both quiz and journal grades transfer directly to the Canvas gradebook and make the grading process much easier.
Excellent.
And
we love that.
yeah, and another, I guess, great thing about this is the textbook provide a clear step-by-step guide for students with assessments like true talent, personality, interest, multiple intelligences, and that help them to understand themselves better. And this save times, as they don't have to search for assessment elsewhere. Everything is in one place in this book.
Great. And so I think you kind of touched on some of these already, but what would you say is the best thing then from a student perspective? Is there anything they've commented on or that way?
I think the best thing about career success is how it's organized into a clear and practical chapters that guide the student through each step of their career planning. Each chapter focuses on a specific area like understanding personality, exploring interest, and creating a job search strategy. And a student really engaged through journal writing. And also I align my discussion board topic with each chapter to help reinforce concept and making them easier to apply, in real world. And also I conduct a survey at the end of my course, and most students give very positive feedback. They particularly enjoy the journal entries and quizzes, which I think that suggests this textbook is effective and well received by students.
Great. And so, as you mentioned, you've been working with career success for quite a while now, but when you were initially looking or anytime it's come up, is there anything in particular that had you, when you were selecting the material for the course, that, why did you choose career success out of what's available?
Yeah, as I said, that I have used other textbook, but I found that career success is really helping students grow. It's practical with tools like quizzes and assessment that guide them in learning about themselves, planning their career, and seeing a student, gaining confidence and feel ready for their next step is choosing a major that's so rewarding, and this book supports that process very well.
Great. And are there any student successes that you'd like to share with us today? Any examples you can think of?
Well, while I don't have one specific story, however, several students have told me that this course helped them clarify their major and career direction. For example, one student who was undecided discovered a strong interest in health sciences through our discussion and assessments, while others found confident to pursue engineering after recognizing their strengths in problem solving. So this book helps students align their career with their personality, interest, and major. And these assessment and journal writing really enhance their critical thinking by encouraging them to reflect on their strengths, weaknesses, and interests, applying these insights to their career path. And plus my homework and assignment on time management help them find balance and recognize the important factors to be successful.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'll just ask the question of what your experience has been working with human resources might be another piece of the equation that people are thinking about themselves.
Yeah, my experience with the human resources team has been very positive. They are very supportive, respond quickly, and I always, when there is an issue, they are very helpful, and working with them has been very easy, and they ensure that everything runs smoothly. And I work with different team members, including you, Tamara, and thank you so much for your customer support.
Great. And the last question I have for you is, do you have any tips or recommendations you'd like to share with everybody today?
Well, I just joined before Dr. Fralick finished her presentation, and it's great to hear that the textbook will include more on AI in the 2025 edition. Since AI is covered, I don't know, maybe perhaps we could also focus on how other emerging technology might shape the future job market. So that's all I have. Everything is really comprehensive and covered in the book.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And again, if people have questions, feel free to type it into either the Q&A or the chat, and happy to ask those questions for you. We can give people a couple minutes here. But
And thank you, Miriam, again for joining us today and your kind comments. I work really hard all the time, and sometimes I wonder if people appreciate it. And so I have to say, you made my day today. Thank you so much for all of your kind comments and hearing about how people are actually using it at their college.
Yeah.
So I would encourage everyone to ask any questions that you might have. Thank you for attending today. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at marsha@marshafralick.com. I can meet with you on Zoom. I can answer questions. I can provide resources, any of those things. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you
Tamara,
so
do we
much.
have any questions?
Well, I have to say I have to run because I have another meeting, and
Yes.
if that's okay.
Yes.
Busy
Thank you,
people,
Miriam.
respect your time. Thank you so much again for joining us today, Miriam. Really appreciate it. And for the rest of those who are listening in, thank you for your time today. We definitely appreciate it. And thank you to Dr. Fralick for sharing her knowledge with us and her time.
Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.